I'm here with the Globe. I'm writing an article on an Operation Goliath.
You can either tell me what really happened, or you can squander this precious opportunity.
Hello, I'm Sophia Jessica, and welcome to the Fan Carpet.
All right, so it's wonderful to speak to you today, Daniel. How are you today?
I'm good. I'm very good. How are you?
Yeah, I'm doing well, doing well. So if we go back to the beginning, was there a defining moment for you to get into the film industry?
In the film industry? Oh my goodness. Well, yes. When I was, I don't know, about like 15, 16, I was actually very good at school, and I was headed in science at the beginning. And it's just at one point, a friend of mine and I, we started going to the theater like twice a week, and it became, I don't know what happened. It became some kind of an obsession. We'd see 2, 3 movies a week. We would give them grades and comments, like like the reviews. And at that time, I was drawing a lot. Like what I was drawn to as an art form was drawing, and it's just movies became something very big in my life, and I didn't expect to be working in that field, but it's just I was exploring it a lot. And so I took some photography classes while I was studying science, and then a little bit of like film history, like touching it from far a little bit. And the more I got into it, the more I was thinking, you know what, maybe I'd like to see if I could be part of that world and creating those incredible. And I thought movies were so powerful. And it's just I wanted to be part of that world, and so I applied at film school, at Canadian Film School, and it's not like with your grades and all that you get in. It's with the portfolio. They do an interview, and so I was like, if I get in, I'll give it a try, and so that's what happened. And then after that, well, I just became very focused, wanting to direct a first feature. Took me about almost 10 years after film school to direct my first feature, but I didn't want to let go. I gave myself some kind of a window to try to succeed in making a first feature. Of course, I was not going to spend like 30 years of my life trying to make a movie, and but yeah, I gave myself 10 years, and I made it, and after that, but I have to admit, after making a first film, I didn't think I was going to make another one. Making a movie is super mega exhausting. It's just very hard. It's very taxing physically, mentally. It's testing you every day. And at the end of that, I had lost like something like 20 pounds, and I was like, and I was a cinematographer at the time, so I was shooting other people's TV series and stuff like that. And I was thinking, let's just go back to being a cinematographer. I can do that. It's great, creative and all that, but I was just lucky. My movie won Best First Feature at the Toronto Film Festival, and then, I thought, well, maybe then I might try and do a second one, and then it became my career, and now I've done 5 feature films. About 15 years later.
Cool. All right, brilliant. So, so what was it about Target Number One that enticed you to get involved and make it and tell this story?
For Target Number One, it's something that I came across a long time ago. After my first feature, actually, I read an article in a newspaper about this operation and this investigation, and it's just I was completely floored by it. I was shocked by it, and and after my first feature, my first film was a horror movie, like a thriller horror movie. To be honest, I was looking for a topic that was, kind of social, like a social comment or observing society or something, quote unquote, important to like a story to tell. So I was looking to do something different. And I was a little bit on the lookout with my scanner on to find some, a subject matter that would strike as important to me. And when I read this article, I immediately thought, oh my God, this I think is something that needs to be told, and that people, especially Canadians, need to know about it, I felt. because it's something that was unexpected that happened. I never thought something like that could happen in Canada to like just a normal citizen that would end up facing a death sentence in another country based on an investigation gone wrong in Canada, and with people pushing for him to be incarcerated and sentenced to death. I mean, we're against the death sentence in Canada. So how do you end up with such a tremendous catastrophic result? So I was very interested in investigating myself to figure out how something like this can happen. What are the motivations behind all the, like a screw up like this? And also telling everybody, I guess, how I realized how important free press is to defend our liberties and freedom and democracy, because maybe I was naive about it. We take it for granted. And in this particular case, without an investigative journalist really pushing, this guy would be dead today, 100% sure. He would have stayed in that Thai prison and he would be dead, because the life expectancy of a Westerner in a prison like that is about 6 years. So that's the map of how much, in general, how people can survive in a prison like that if you're not from like an Asian background. So it's just, I felt it was important to tell. And then I spent 12 years on this project. It became my 5th feature. I thought it was going to be my 2nd feature, naively,
Right. Okay. And so while filming, do you have any memories that will stick with you for the rest of your career?
Memories that will last. Well, yes, so many, because first of all, it's the first time I work with like an international superstar like Josh Hartnett on a movie. So it was a special experience. It's my 5th feature, but it is my first 100% in English. I've done French Canadian films before, mostly. I've done a big sci-fi movie in France. And I mean, it was great with Romain and Olga Kurylenko in my movie. But Josh, for me, had, done Black Hawk Down. He's worked with Ridley Scott. He's done like these huge Hollywood movies. And for me, it was something big to live that experience with him. So I'll remember that, of course. And it was fantastic. And I love his performance in the movie. I think he's super charismatic. I totally understand how somebody like that becomes a superstar like that. Also, obviously, all the Thai experience, shooting in a country like this, recreating the prison was something very special. Especially because we had about 300 extras there. It was about an hour and a half away from Bangkok, and we found this abandoned prison. But I mean, it had been closed for about 5-6 years. And while recruiting the extras to be in the prison there, well, the casting director was looking for people living around that prison, close by, so that you don't have to carry them from Bangkok. And we ended up with probably half the people, because we were looking for with guys with tattoos and stuff like that. We ended up with like more than half the people had already been in that prison in reality. So it was strange. It felt, a little bit awkward at the beginning, but then their attitude was so positive. All these Buddhist convicts who had such a beautiful attitude, and it was kind of magical. And one of the really incredible moment was in the cell. At one point, we wanted to do a Buddhist prayer. And so, because that's how it happens there's like a speaker outside, and every morning and every evening there's like a 10-15 minute Buddhist prayer that goes on, and people in the cells pray at the same time, and they get into their position and they do that little chanting prayer type of thing. And so we wanted to replicate that. And that was a really striking moment when everybody, it wasn't even rehearsed. They all know those prayers by heart. And so, my assistant director, Thai assistant director, just asked in the extras who's the most experienced Buddhist, and can you start, just start a prayer. And so they just all get into position and they start the chanting, and it was just very impressive for us, that cultural kind of connection that they have. And so that was a magical moment for us. Also shooting Antoine playing Alain Olivier, the real guy. There's the scene, it was emotional for me. Is shooting the scene when he gets, I'm guessing you've seen the movie, when he gets the letter at the end, telling him, that he's gonna come home. And it's not a spoiler because we know, he's in Canada, and we know he got out of that prison. But for me, when we were shooting it, it's just because I had been working 10 years with the real guy, and it felt like I was actually sitting there at that moment when he realized it was all over and he could come back. And Antoine played it a little bit emotional, and it got to me, and I became emotional shooting it. It's moments like that, and I could go on for an hour, because it was really probably one of my most, it was one of my best shoots ever. Even though it's difficult to do, because I wrote it. It's the first movie I write on my own 100%, because I wrote it. It's such an important subject, and it was such a fight to get everything done.
Yeah.
But I was surrounded by a crew that had done other movies with me, and it was a bunch of friends, and they were so close, and we were so focused all together. It was like a war machine, and it felt so good. So just really grateful I could make the movie.
Wonderful. Obviously, having like natives to Bangkok, that obviously helps with the authenticity. But you've assembled a stellar cast with the likes of Josh and Amanda and everyone else that you work on in the film. So what would they like to work with?
Okay, well, yes, there's a big cast on the movie. We have so many parts, and it was important for me to cast experienced actors, especially after I cast Josh, because as you've seen, there's many steps in the story, and so he encounters many people, and I wanted every one of those actors to be experienced enough, grounded enough, charismatic enough to face Josh Hartnett and create something great in the movie. Even though we have a small budget, and I couldn't hire superstars in all those roles, I was very fortunate to get somebody like Amanda Crew, who's so fantastic, and so every one of those actors, I felt, even though they would come for just a couple of days, were also focused, and I know they loved the story and they felt it was important, and it just felt everybody was very dedicated to the project. And so loved, obviously creating Victor Malarek was a big thing with Josh, and making him, like a cool rebel with values, but also impatient, and so it was great. And we did a little bit of, like the little mini car chase and stuff like that, and it was like, so that, creating that hero was a lot of fun. Then we had Jim Gaffigan, who was just like, the biggest challenge with Jim was not to laugh during the takes, because he would improvise all the time, all these different lines, and all the crew was always so laughing all the time. And in between takes, it's never ending with Jim. We could just sit there and laugh all day and not shoot a thing. So sometimes it's just like, okay, guys, okay, shut up now. We just shut up. We actually gotta shoot this take because everybody's laughing, and it was so much fun. And I had Don McKellar, who's done probably every Canadian movie in history. He's almost like a lucky charm for a Canadian movie. So to have him come, and for 2 days or something like that, and I felt it was so generous of him. Jason McKenzie was fantastic as Josh's boss at the Globe and Mail there. Again, a lot of, guy that likes to improvise the vibe, and so much energy. So all these, for me, it was great. And then in the end, it was Antoine Olivier Pilon who had made such an impression with Mommy, and it put pressure on me because, they won an award at Cannes with that movie, and Antoine had never done a movie in English before. So this is his first movie that's going to be released all over the world. And he was a star in France and in Canada and worldwide because of Mommy in French. And he was like about 15 or 16 years old when he did that movie. Now, he's in his early 20s. First film as like a young adult, and first film in English. It's going to be released everywhere. I just wanted to make sure that, he shines as much as he can in the movie. And so it was fantastic to, focus Antoine and I on having fun every day and playing with this character, and also the fights in Thailand, making sure that we get into all that stuff and make him a character we care for. And so just good memories, I would say.
Awesome.
It was great.
Awesome. So just before I let you go, what are you hoping audience will take away from Target Number One when they get a chance to see it?
Well, I hope people have a good time and appreciate the puzzle I put together, especially with the structure of the movie. I think I put it created like this to make it interesting and fun and intriguing. So, my first goal is always to entertain with movies, but at the same time with this one, there is a little bit of a, social statement and observation actually, and try to, analyze, like I said before, how something like this can happen, and that it's not, I feel like, things like that are not necessarily premeditated by evil people. And for me, it's I hope that we can all together observe how the system can create such a catastrophe like this, and be more conscious and more careful in protecting free press. That's, if there's a message I'd like to send into the world, is let's protect that and be careful, not take it for granted. And especially nowadays, even though this story takes place in 1989, it's more accurate now than it was then, because the newspapers have gone through over the past 10-15 years the danger of this of vanishing, maybe, it's and because all the corporate structure of all that has been put to test with the internet and all that. So who pays those investigative journalists that spend time, months on cases like that to uncover wrongdoings, cover-ups, people trying to hide mistakes, but sacrificing innocent people? It's just, we need those investigative reporters. That's I hope people realize that walking out of the movie.
Absolutely. All right. Well, I'll leave it there. But thank you so much for taking the time to speak to me today. This has been incredible. Good luck with the film and everything else that you do.
Thank you for watching The Fan Carpet. Please follow us on Facebook, Twitter and Instagram for more content next time.
The government abandoned him. Am I supposed to leave him out there to rot?
I'm here on the largest of the Balearic Islands, Mallorca. With the turquoise waters of the Mediterranean Sea, beautiful mountainous landscape, the thriving city of Palma, quaint little market towns, a growing number of luxury hotels, It's no surprise that the likes of Audrey Hepburn and Elizabeth Taylor like to holiday here. So come and join me as I take you round Mallorca.
Thank you for watching The Fan Carpet. If you like this video, be sure to click that thumbs up button at the bottom of your screen. And also be sure to subscribe to the Fan Carpet YouTube channels. They're absolutely free and so much fun too. Be sure to check out the official website, thefancarpet.com. Also, you can follow us on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram to stay up to date with reviews, competitions, the latest news, and so much more.